It's Monday, July 14th. The moon is in Pisces and the sun is still in Cancer. It's a watery feel today. We might wake up not wanting to go do the thing today, but this feeling is going to pass. So, for John, do the thing. It won't be as bad as you think. In fact, this morning is going to be pretty great. As the day wears on, we might feel a little longing, like we want to bring more love into our lives, or more beauty, or maybe stand more proudly with our cause. Remember that in the long run, we get what we give, and all of those things take effort on our parts. They're not going to just fall out of heaven. So it might just be a day of dreaming about what we want, or we might be feeling sad and powerless about not having it. And I would like to gently suggest that if we're feeling sad and powerless, we need to put the shame down. It usually goes all back to shame and feeling we don't deserve. And that's just not true. That's bullshit somebody taught you. So, how can we rearrange things in our hearts and our heads so that we can believe that we do deserve the things that we want, our values, what we value? In the afternoon, Chiron is going to be talking to the moon and Venus. So, again, we could be feeling a little melancholy. But it's possible to have some breakthroughs around that heartache and shame. We might be able to see things more objectively and use those insights constructively. Forgive ourselves. Love ourselves. We are worthy of love, okay? Like if I'm worthy of love, you're worthy of love. Really. It's Tuesday, July 15th. The sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Pisces. The morning should feel pretty good as these two trine each other, exact around noon Central Time, and continuing to bring that ease into the afternoon. Unfortunately, that's when the moon is going to go void of course again for 11 hours, starting at 12:09 p.m. Central. So let's try to get as much done as we can in the morning with things that are going to be outside of our routine, like relaying and receiving any important information, getting support on our plan, getting buy-in from other people, making any appointments we need to, and doing the things that might get us sucked into a rabbit hole after the moon goes void of course. Meanwhile, we might feel something kind of tugging at our heart in the background. So why not use some of that flowing trine energy to just take a look right at it while we have that feeling of strength and like things are going our way? And something else to consider is that, for trauma survivors, the brutality that's happening in the world right now can really trigger us into a spiral of depression. It rhymes so closely with the cruelty and helplessness that we've experienced firsthand for a lot of us when we were children, as survivors of trauma. And remember, that was the past. And today, that response is what the monsters want. They want our fear. They want our compliance because of the fear. So please do what you can to put up an emotional firewall between your experiences in the past and the news of today. Limit your exposure. That's hard for me to do. I don't know about you, but I feel like something bad's going to happen and I'm going to need to know about it. or something good is going to happen and I'm waiting for that. It's so easy to get sucked into that, and it doesn't make me feel good. So instead, let's take action, call our representatives. That's still on. It'll never be over with. We always need to be hammering them for what we want. You can also join local initiatives, whatever that is, maybe helping people learn English, or, I don't know. You have to look around and see what you can do. But most importantly, let's work on loving and accepting our lovely selves. We need to focus on what the beautiful future is going to look like once we get through these dark times, and that is going to help us land in that spot where we want to go. If we keep imagining the worst, that's what we're going to manifest. We don't want to do that. Yeah. And I will see you tomorrow. It's Wednesday, July 16th. The sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Aries. We'll wake up to the push me pull you of the Saturn and Neptune conjunction and the near conjunction, and the seriousness and depth of Pluto. We might have had some really vivid dreams last night, so let's be prepared to write them down when we wake up in the morning. Venus is snuggling up to a sextile to Mercury on Friday morning, so if we've got some writing to do, we're really in luck. We can set ourselves up to put in the effort that it takes to sit down and do the thing. The wind is going to be in our sails. The moon squares Jupiter, and that'll be exact around 2 p.m. Central, and that might have us jumping up and trying to gallop around, especially with Mars and Pluto sizing each other up for a sesquiquadrate on Thursday afternoon. We don't want to have to go along with everyone else. But if we want to work with this energy instead of beating our heads against the wall, and we probably do not want to beat our heads against the wall, we're going to have to find a way to make it work. And that might take some mental gymnastics on our part, like, okay, I'm going along with this, but I'm going to be right in the end, kind of mental gymnastics. The sun is squaring Chiron, and that might have us feeling sorry for someone or longing for an end to some kind of pain that we have going on. See what you can do to find support and wisdom for yourself. You might be the support and wisdom somebody else needs also at this time, and that's going to ease our minds and help us feel better too. If you need to talk to somebody, you can check out michellecraft.love and order a reading from me. I'd love to meet you and look at your chart. Yeah. And help you work on your self-care plan. And I will see you tomorrow. It's Thursday, June 17th. The sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Taurus. Mercury stations retrograde today, this evening at 11:44 p.m. Motor mouth alert. If we're big talkers or just big thinkers, we might be spinning out a little bit this morning without going anywhere. Chiron is still making himself felt, now with a square from the sun. Pain and healing might be on our radar, and we might be struggling with what to do about that. Or we can be struggling to not feel our feelings, and that will have us feeling really irritated. We'll be just feeling irritation instead of that. Yeah. So it'll be more constructive to take the dive in. If we have time to journal about it this morning, or just think about things on our drive to work or whatever it is, we might get some real catharsis or breakthroughs in how we see the situation. Remember that we are not powerless. We can still have influence within the group, and in fact, we might have a breakthrough today about how our relationships affect how we feel about ourselves. This is really important to consider. Who are we when we are with other people? And who are we when we are alone? If there's a big difference between those two things, like why is that? Does that feel healthy? This evening, the moon conjuncts Chiron, and that's bringing even more emphasis to our wounds and healing. We need to have our self-love, our self-esteem on call tonight. If we're just feeling sad with no meaning attached, can we pull a thread and have a look and feel better? Have a good cry, even if we don't know why? If none of that makes any sense for you today, try getting that angsty feeling out with physical activity. Skip rope, dance, run, whatever your physical exertion jam is, lift weights. And, remember that feelings are important and they are temporary. Friday afternoon is going to feel completely different. I love you, imps, and I will see you tomorrow. It's Friday, July 18th. The sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Aries. We're off to a slow and possibly irritated start to the day. We might feel a little defeated or not sure how to proceed in some area of our lives. So talk about it and tease it out. Get to the bottom of it. Even if we're just talking to our dog, talking or writing will feel really good, especially talking or texting, like interacting with a live person, because we're going to want to feel heard, and so is the other person. So remember to have a good give and take when you do have your conversations today. We might be feeling constrained and not wanting to settle down and get to work. But if we do, we'll probably be able to get into full absorption mode, full concentration mode. At around 11 a.m. Central, our Venus values come into focus. This might be a conversation we have with ourselves or somebody in our tribe, but we're going to realize something important about how we live our beliefs, how we live our priorities that shape our beliefs. With Mercury retrograde, our opinions are ripe for change. And who could be a better influence on us than Venus? Nobody. That's who. Well, maybe Saturn sometimes. I say this as a Capricorn. This afternoon is an excellent afternoon. If we can get into that, if we can allow ourselves to enjoy it. We might need a jump start of some kind, though, and maybe what I'm saying is going to be enough to do that. So at the count of 3, we're going to begin enjoying our weekend. 1, 2, 3. And the moon is sextile to Jupiter. What good can we do with this buoyant feeling? Dinner out? Meeting up with friends? It's going to be an excellent evening to solve the world's problems. And I will see you tomorrow. It's Saturday and Sunday, July 19th and 20th. Saturday morning is going to be silent time at the House of Craft with the moon square Mercury and other assorted tense conversations going on. We might be feeling irritated, but hey, by 8:30, we're loaded for bear and ready to take on the day. This could go sideways as too much power to the warp drive, and we can find ourselves running over other people in our haste to take care of business. So please be cognizant that we might be brusque and pushy. Or if you're on the receiving end of that, it's okay to say, hey, impulse power. Venus and Mars are moving into square each other, and that'll be exact on this coming Wednesday. But we'll be starting to feel it right now. If our relationships are healthy, we'll be able to use this energy to add some gusto to our indoor sports. But if our relationships are troubled, this is going to cause that pimple to come to a head. So get the bumps moved out as quickly as possible so you can enjoy this time instead. Sunday morning, the moon is conjunct Uranus and throwing sextiles and trines at Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. Boy, can we innovate to move mountains this morning if we use the force of our will. It's not going to happen without our input. In the afternoon, the sun is going to sextile Uranus, and we could take some revolutionary action if we're on the path of doing our soul's work. Or this transit can kind of come and go as a big bunch of nothing. Personally, I would rather use it intentionally and actively seek breakthroughs of understanding and innovation. A good way to do that is to meditate and ask our guides to give us the download, give us the insights. So let's use our actions to leverage the past into a better future. And I will see you tomorrow.